Welcome to Leaders' Questions.
Thank you. We move now to Deputy Michael Collins.
Thank you, Concorde. Minister, Uisce Éireann's strategic funding plan requirements was 11 billion in 2024, comprised of 6.1 billion investment in infrastructure and 4.9 billion in operating costs. And while all spending have to be questioned, I will try and concentrate on what is Ireland's getting for this huge budget. Every housing target that Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil, Sinn Féin, Labour and Soc Dims have set are nothing short of farcical. I will not use the word lie in the House, but what I will use is you are misleading the public, as none of the dream targets that all you have housing set can be achieved because of major lack of infrastructure, which comes down to Uisce Éireann. We have a shocking mess in our hands, Minister, and you will have to clean it. Wastewater treatment plants are creaking and bursting throughout our country, and no matter how many meetings politicians and communities with Uisce Éireann have, you won't get 1 inch of information to give back to your community that might lead to a solution. I will just mention a few: Goleen, Balladahub, Rosscarbery, Shannonvale and Dunmanway. That's just a few in West Cork that I could name. Dunmanway's wastewater treatment plant is bursting at the seams and has burst into the rivers and has been for years, and we don't know, is it 10 or 20 years' time this treatment plant will be upgraded? But in that much time that Uisce Éireann keep twiddling their thumbs, not a house can be built in Dunmanway, in what could be a thriving town. And this is the length and breadth of Ireland. Meeting after meeting with public reps in Uisce Éireann yield zero, and this must stop now. In the recent storm, wastewater treatment plants throughout the country were found to have no generators. Not alone no generators, but not even a switches have been fitted in any plants in case of an emergency, Minister. Imagine, just pick Inniscarra and Cork, the plant, if it had an electricity shutdown for a number of days and no generators in place, no switches in place in case they could even take a mobile one in, as is the case, every pharmaceutical, every business, every private house owner, every hospital will be shut down, causing hundreds of thousands of euros losses, maybe leading to millions. Another area, Taoiseach, where there is a major lack of confidence is senior employees in the Council who have been transferred to Uisce Éireann have either gone back to the Council or jumped ship and taken retirement, leaving Uisce Éireann shockingly short-staffed of good expertise that kept the show on the road in the local communities. And do management in Uisce Éireann care? No. They really don't give a damn, as they're accountable to no one. They don't care when we run into problems like blockages or other in communities, as it is collar and tie pencil pushers are now running the show from the capital, and to hell with the rural communities served by Uisce Éireann. I have named out 3 areas in Uisce Éireann that need on-the-ground attention immediately. Do you agree that some communities, Minister, like Shannonvale and Clonakilty, that have raw sewage pouring in to a once local playground, which is now blocked off by Uisce Éireann, should wait 27 years and still no response? Do you agree with Independent Ireland's policy document that any communities that have 5 years of leaking raw sewage into drinking rivers or play park community gardens should have a start date for works? Or can you tell me what is your solution to Uisce Éireann's mess?
Deputy, I think this government has been very clear in stating that we need to invest more in our water system, that we need to do more to make sure that towns or communities or villages where they don't have access to the quality of water that they should, that there is investment there first and foremost, but that also we ensure that sites are opened up, that in the delivery of housing in particular, that we have the investment, the infrastructure that is needed to achieve the overall objective and the overall goals and the overall targets that we have set ourselves. Irish Water itself, or Uisce Éireann, we have set a very clear level of investment. There will be record levels invested in the period of 21 to this year, commitments of almost €6 billion in capital investment, of which over 4.5 billion will be voted exchequer funding for domestic water services. And we're already starting to see the benefit of that. I look in my own constituency in County Meath, where for many years we had significant problems in the towns of Ratoath and Ashburn and surrounding areas with water quality. With €40 million of an investment into a new water tower, that issue has been resolved, and we're starting to see challenges and problems like that resolved right across the country. What have we said as a government we will do? We will invest even further. We said very clearly with the review of the NDP, which will happen earlier this year, that there will be a particular focus on making sure that we invest in our infrastructure, which very clearly includes our water, that we have an increase in windfall tax receipts, but also the Apple money that we know we have said very clearly prior to the election and since then that a significant amount of that will be spent on investment in our wastewater treatment. In terms of the storm and the response, I mean, I have to commend every person through the ESB and those in Uisce Éireann and beyond who responded to what was an unprecedented incident where we saw tens of thousands of people, not just without electricity, but also without water and without power. And what happened in response by Uisce Éireann was that almost 400,000 customers through backup generation had their service maintained. So there was a huge amount of work done to make sure that where possible we could maintain that service, and those who were out of service, it is now the case that that has been restored and was restored as quickly as possible. What we're looking to do now in Uisce Éireann in particular is to increase its stock of mobile generators, because we know that these storms are not going to end. They want to increase them by an additional 100 generators, and these will be purchased immediately. On top of that, they're also accelerating their programme to make sites generator ready, so to make sure it's not possible to say that we'll have a generator on site in every single area, but if it's needed, that those sites are absolutely ready. Can I just compliment and respond maybe to some of the Deputy's comments? I mean, we have quite a number of people working with about 3,500 people employed, operating some 1,800 water and wastewater treatment plants, 4,100 pumping stations, 2,400 abstraction points and reservoirs, maintaining 90,000 kilometres of pipelines. There's a huge amount of work taking place by those in Uisce Éireann.
Thank you, Minister.
We wanted to do more,
Deputy
we will
Collins.
do more, and we're going to invest significantly so that we can expand the infrastructure right across the country.
Thank you, Minister. And, you know, the issue, I raised two issues within Uisce Éireann. The generators, there wasn't even a switchover point in many of the plants that are there at the moment. Not even a switchover point. So if the emergency struck and they could bring a mobile unit in, they couldn't even plug it in. It's an astonishing situation. Apparently there's employees full-time to organise this for the last few years. The people of Ireland are calling out for accountability. I have asked you for your solution and for the communities out there, the length and breadth of Ireland, that have raw sewage pouring into their communities. But the answer you gave me will not be good enough, Minister, for me to get back to my communities to prove that they at least get a date as to when works will start. That's the most important thing here. If we could get a date, it would solve a lot of the issues going forward, that people know, even if it's 3 years' time or 5 years' time. But when you sit down with Uisce Éireann, you don't know, is it 10 years' time or 20 years' time? You're going to end up with only a whole lot of waffle talk. I have named many communities in West Cork, but this is a national crisis that we shut a blind eye to, and all this while all parties here and outside Independent Ireland read out unachievable targets. What do I say to the people of Goleen waiting 26 years, Balladahob 15 years, Rosscarbery 10, Dunmanway 10, Shannonvale 27? They have raw sewage pouring into their communities every day, and Uisce Éireann and their buddies at EP and others shutting a blind eye to them, Minister. What do I say to them?
To respond to both points, in relation to the storm, a committee has already been established on a permanent basis to make sure that all departments, that all relevant agencies are prepared should something like this happen again. And as I've said, the likelihood of that is quite high. So what are Uisce Éireann doing? They're purchasing more generators. They're making sure that sites are generator ready, and anything more that they need to do, they will do. Separate to that then, we need more investment overall, and government is saying very clearly we need more investment in wastewater treatment, and that is going to happen. We're saying very clearly with the review of the NDP, we will focus on infrastructure. With the money that we're spending through Apple, we will focus on infrastructure, with housing being our #1 priority. What is one of the main things that will help unlock many of the sites that we want to build on? It's making sure that we have that infrastructure, that we have that access to wastewater treatment, but also, and to acknowledge, Deputy, for the people who are already living in houses in their communities where there are problems, that we upgrade, that we invest, and we do that as quickly as possible. That means money, but also expanding on Uisce Éireann, and there's a very clear commitment to expand the number of people that I've mentioned working in Uisce Éireann, so that that work can be done as quickly as possible, and that those concerns can be addressed as quickly as possible.
We move now to questions.
Like, share, and subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.